Good day, viewers. I'm John Boss, and this is your Prime Update on DV Real News TV. We bring you a developing story that's unfolding right now in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, where civil unrest, celebrity drama, and human rights concerns are converging in a viral protest that has taken social media by storm. Today, demonstrators gathered outside the GT Bank branch in Area 3, Abuja, calling for the immediate release of controversial social media figure and activist, Martins Vincent Otts, better known online as Very Dark Man or simply VDM. The protest, which began earlier this afternoon, follows a dramatic arrest that occurred just days ago, May 2nd, when VDM was allegedly apprehended by masked operatives while inside the bank, reportedly trying to resolve suspicious deductions from his mother's account. Eyewitnesses claim that the arrest was sudden, forceful, and executed without clear identification. Unconfirmed reports suggest the operatives may be linked to Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, or even the Department of State Services, the DSS. Now, for those unfamiliar with VDM, he is no stranger to controversy. Known for his outspoken views, raw commentary, and frequent clashes with authorities, VDM has amassed a massive following online, along with no shortage of critics. In February of this year, he publicly accused the EFCC of plotting a frame-up against him, claiming they were fabricating charges in retaliation for his harsh criticism of EFCC chairman, Olanipekan Olukoyede. That video went viral. And now, just weeks later, he's behind bars, under mysterious circumstances. Interviews with protesters. We're tired of this government targeting voices that speak the truth. VDM stands for justice, and they want to silence him. We demand transparency from the EFCC. If there are real charges, let them be brought forward. Otherwise, this is just intimidation. Among the voices supporting the movement are entertainers, social justice advocates, and thousands online who have rallied behind the now-trending hashtag #FreeVDM. Even gospel artist Mercy Chinwo has been loosely linked to the protest online, though her involvement remains unclear and may be misreported by viral threads. So far, neither the EFCC nor the DSS have issued a formal statement regarding the arrest. Legal observers say the silence is troubling, especially given Nigeria's ongoing scrutiny over press freedom and civil liberties. Legal analysts discussing implications of extrajudicial arrests. I quote, "There are procedures under Nigerian law that must be followed when detaining a citizen. If those weren't followed, this could become a human rights case." Online, the reaction has been explosive. The hashtag #FreeVDM is trending nationwide on X, TikTok, and Instagram, with supporters demanding accountability. Some are even calling on international watchdogs to investigate the situation. Please leave your comments on the comment section poll. Do you believe VDM was unfairly arrested? 78% yes, 15% no, 7% unsure. Whether you love or loathe Very Dark Man, the situation raises important questions about freedom of expression, due process, and the power of digital influence. We'll continue to monitor this story as it unfolds. For now, tensions remain high in Abuja. Protesters are refusing to back down, and the government remains tight-lipped. Take you deep inside the walls of Jos Correctional Centre, a place where freedom is lost, but according to several accounts, so is basic human dignity. Built during the colonial era, Jos Prison was designed to house around 500 inmates. Today, it holds nearly double that number. But the overcrowding is just the beginning. Inmates and human rights advocates alike are raising alarm bells over what they describe as inhumane conditions. Food not fit for consumption, medical neglect that borders on cruelty, and a system that, in many cases, fails to even offer a fair trial before punishment begins. We spoke to former inmates, insiders, and rights organizations to bring you an unfiltered look into the harsh realities hidden behind Jos Prison's stone walls. Jos Correctional Centre stands as a grim relic of Nigeria's colonial past, but its present may be even more troubling. The facility, intended to serve as a center for rehabilitation and justice, now finds itself mired in scandal and allegations of systemic neglect. According to human rights lawyer Okafor, the prison system is overwhelmed. Jos is not alone in this. Across Nigeria, correctional facilities are operating at 170 to even 200% capacity. But lack of space isn't the core issue. It's the absence of political will to prioritize human dignity. Overcrowding means limited resources, shared mattresses, and no privacy. But more than the physical strain, It's the psychological toll of dehumanization that inmates describe as unbearable. Imagine being handed a plate of watery beans filled with insects, or rice that smells rotten before it even reaches your cell. For inmates at Jos Prison, that's not imagination, it's daily life. According to multiple testimonies, the food served in Jos Prison is not only insufficient, it's dangerous. Meals are often unidentifiable, devoid of nutrition, and in some cases, allegedly laced with contaminants. According to one of the former inmates said, "They give you a ball of gari and a watery soup with no meat, no fish, no taste. Just oil and maybe 2 leaves floating. One time I found maggots in the beans. When we complained, the warden said, 'You're lucky to eat at all.'" Nutritionist Dr. Ojo, explaining risks of malnutrition, I quote, "Prisoners are still human beings. A diet without protein or basic nutrients leads to weakened immune systems, which, in an unsanitary environment, becomes deadly. If the food doesn't harm you, the lack of medical care just might." In Jos Prison, inmates say even basic illnesses are left untreated, and the consequences can be fatal. From chronic asthma to untreated infections, inmates claim that medical attention in Jos Prison is both rare and insufficient. Without qualified personnel or supplies, prisoners are left to suffer, sometimes to die, in silence. HRW officer. In one report, a man died from a fever he had for over a week. Guards assumed he was pretending. No doctor ever came. Prison officer, anonymous, said that, "We have one nurse covering over 800 inmates, and she only works during the day. At night, if someone collapses, you pray." That's it. Perhaps the most tragic detail? Many of the inmates enduring these conditions have not been convicted of any crime. Over 70% of inmates in Jos Prison are awaiting trial. Some have been locked up for years without seeing a judge, stuck in a bureaucratic nightmare of backlogs and legal delays. Public Defender Ade. I have clients who were arrested on suspicion alone, no evidence, no charge sheet, for petty theft or protests. They're still in prison after 3 years because the system forgot about them. Allegedly, behind every barred window is a person, a father, a daughter, a youth with dreams deferred. And while justice should uphold accountability, it must not extinguish humanity. Mother of inmate said, "My son was arrested during a protest. They said he threw a stone. He was 19. It's been 2 years. No trial. No bail." Allegedly, according to NGOs. The state cannot abandon its citizens just because they wear a uniform labeled inmate. They're still Nigerians. They're still human. The problems at Jos Correctional Centre are not unique, but they are urgent. Activists, lawyers, and even prison officials agree. The system needs immediate overhaul. List of what is needed to fix. Proper nutrition and sanitation in all prisons. Hiring of certified medical personnel. Fast-tracking of pretrial hearings. Increased oversight and transparency. Education and rehabilitation programs. Before we close tonight, here are words directly from the inmates, smuggled letters, anonymous phone calls, whispered truths. They say we are here to be reformed. But how can a man be reformed when he is starving, sick, and forgotten? Tell them we are not animals. We bleed, we cry, we dream too. The measure of a society is not just in how it treats its wealthy or its powerful, but how it treats those who have fallen, failed, or been accused. If Nigeria is to move forward, our correctional system must reflect the values of justice, not cruelty. It must offer not just punishment, but dignity, accountability, and a path toward redemption. Until then, Jos Correctional Centre remains not a place of correction, but a chamber of quiet suffering. We delve into the recent arrests in Edo State, Nigeria, where the Department of State Services, DSS, detained several activists over a planned rally in support of Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. The incident has sparked widespread reactions, raising questions about freedom of expression, Pan-African solidarity, and the role of security agencies in democratic societies. On April 30, 2025, the DSS arrested Marxist activist and leader of the Talakawa Parliament, Comrade Kola Adokpei, along with 5 others in Benin City, Edo State. The arrests were linked to a planned solidarity rally in support of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the transitional president of Burkina Faso. The rally was intended as a Pan-African solidarity demonstration, aligning with similar events across the continent. Organizers aimed to express support for Traoré's anti-imperialist stance and his efforts to reclaim Burkina Faso's sovereignty. Civil society's response. press conferences by civil society organizations, a protest demanding the release of detained activists. A coalition of civil society organizations in Edo State has demanded the immediate release of the detained activists. They argue that the arrests infringe upon constitutional rights and could damage the relationship between grassroots organizations and security agencies. The planned rally in Nigeria was part of a broader wave of Pan-African solidarity movements supporting Captain Traoré. Demonstrations have taken place in various countries, emphasizing a collective desire for African unity and resistance against neo-colonial influences. A legal experts discussing the arrests. And a human rights advocates highlighting concerns. Legal experts and human rights advocates have raised concerns about the DSS's actions, questioning the legality of the arrests and the potential suppression of free speech and assembly. They call for adherence to democratic principles and the protection of citizens' rights. The arrests in Edo State highlight the delicate balance between national security and individual freedoms. As Pan-African movements gain momentum, it's crucial for governments to navigate these dynamics thoughtfully, ensuring that the rights of citizens are upheld while maintaining public order. I'm John Boss. Thank you for watching DV Real News TV.